All right, Mark. Welcome to the Dark Waters, man. Thanks for doing this. Like, I didn't usually, because whenever someone wins a big tournament, like all the other podcasts get them first. Like, I know you were on KBN. The paddle and fin dorks had to get you. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And so I'm like the worst of all of them. So I usually get them. I usually wait like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll get you guys when nobody wants to talk to you guys anymore. But no, I really do appreciate this because like I leave Friday to go up north to start fishing a tournament, and then I won't be back until after Lake Champlain next Sunday. So this is probably one of my last podcasts for a while.
Hey man, I'm glad I could get on with you. I've seen your podcast before. You're a funny dude. Anybody a shotgun a beer on a live podcast, I'm down to talk to that man.
Yeah, dude. That's I like the party, man. That's what we do. But dude, congrats on the big win. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, we'll talk a little bit about it, but I just know that you just got done with Paddle and Fin, and those guys are good at talking, but breaking down tournaments, and you're on KBN, so we might like just wing this shit, man, and talk about some other stuff if you're cool with that.
I'm good with it, man. Whatever you want to talk about.
I mean, like, do you want to go with the same story? I kind of know what you did. Like, you pretty much won at the ramp. I mean,
yeah, there's not much to tell. It's like I wasted my entire day one except for the last 30 minutes. I should have never left the boat. Took in one pole, one rod.
That's kind of what I actually want to talk about because, like this year I changed a lot of things up, and one of the things that I did was I got real simple about shit. And it's because of guys like you and Ryan Lambert and Adam Reiser. Because when I hear you guys talk, it's like, why am I working so hard? Why am I buying so much shit? Why am I, it's just like, I'm not saying you don't need a bunch of shit. I'm not saying you don't need to work hard. But I listen to like some of the way you guys say, like talking, like the amount of poles you take out. Some of these guys don't even use fish finders half the time. And then like everyone else is making these big ass movements, and you just like, I'm just gonna go right here. It's just like I feel like a lot of times that a lot of us just do way more shit than we have to, just because I don't know, like how many times do you see guys not stay at the launch than you do when you see guys actually stay around the launch or fish close to that area. Everyone likes to make big moves. They like to carry tons of shit. They like to whatever. But it's funny, like you just win this big Bassmaster thing. Ryan Lambert wins Tournament of Champions, and like just all the people I talk to, it's just like there's a simple way to do this shit. I think a lot of us are caught up in like the bullshit part of fishing, I guess we'll call it.
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm one of those people that I get caught up in it. I want to have new toys. I want this. I want that. I do roll out on tournament day with about 12 rods. My theory behind the 12 rods is I don't like retying shit.
That's my whole philosophy.
if I mess up something, I want to be able to reach back and have a backup something for it.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up doing that on day 2. And I ended up cutting about 3 or 4 rods and trying those reels out to see if I felt comfortable cranking with them. And I finally went to my oldest $99 5-year-old loose reel. And, man, I burned that reel up. I went out and played with it at a pond, and it's jacked.
It's jacked. Well, cool, man. Like, so what did you think about the whole Possum Kingdom experience overall? Like the flooding, Did you fish the week prior to the Hobie event as well?
No, I didn't fish Sam Rayburn. My son was supposed to have a baseball tournament. Okay. So unfortunately I had to withdraw from Rayburn, which I would have loved to be there. I love flipping, punching, fishing flooded stuff. That's the style that I like to do. But unfortunately we didn't find out his tournament was canceled until Saturday morning. So
it's what it is. Yeah.
I got a chill weekend, and I got to start pre-fishing on time. So,
yeah. Well, so what do you think about Possum Kingdom, like just overall? Like, I know it was a great event. I know you did great. A lot of people said they just enjoyed the whole experience itself, but just the conditions, man. What'd you think of them? Was it something? Was it to me like when you talk about what happened at the Hobie event prior to that, and then a lot of my friends went down there to fish Possum Kingdom. They just talked about the high water levels, the fish being. Like they're not being an offshore bite, they're fish being up shallow, just different than what people thought it was going to be. Like, what was your thoughts going into it, and what'd you think when you got there?
So, on Possum Kingdom, I know it's one of Guillermo's top 3 lakes. I've done good pre-fishing there a couple times, but if I was going to choose 5 lakes in the state of Texas, Possum Kingdom wouldn't have been on there until recently.
Right.
But it's not one of my favorite lakes to go to. I don't like clear water. I don't like deep water. It's who I am. I like to fish shallow.
Right.
I have a couple spots that hold fish year round out there. That's shallow fishing for me, and those spots were completely blown out, muddied up. And in previous years, I've learned that when the water there gets dirty, fish usually get a little bit of lockjaw, which seemed not to be the case this time. Everybody went out and straight hammered fish for 2 days. But it was intimidating going in. I found a little bit of a game plan, and I knew it was good enough to get me in the top 30, and that's what I was shooting for going in. Was just cutting a check, saying, "Hey, I finished in the top 30 at the first ever Bassmaster Kayak Championship," and ended up winning the whole thing on a boat ramp.
On a boat ramp. Like it
On
was
a boat ramp.
no, but was it? Because I know day 2 you stayed at the boat ramp. Day 1 you just came back and fished the boat ramp, right? Did you or did you just fish boat ramps the whole time you were there?
No. I fished bluff walls on day 1 up until about 12:30. We had 4 small fish. Went back to the boat ramp. Cold out all 4 for 97 inches.
And then
And I was
that's when
like,
you realized that's where you're going to go the next day.
I made up my mind. I was like, hey man, this is the first place I'm fishing. If I got to run buff walls after this, I'm not going to do so good in this tournament.
Yeah.
And
So I know you're friends with Ryan Lambert. I know Ryan Lambert likes to party, and I'm pretty sure I saw video and pictures on the social media of you guys drinking, having a good time, going to dive bars. That did that help you decide that you were going to stay at the boat launch on day 2? Maybe you didn't want to make
no,
a big move.
anytime me and Lambert get around each other, I like Lambert. He's a good dude, and when we're at these tournaments, we like to go have a good time. I'm the type of guy that I don't like to sit around and overthink stuff.
Yeah,
I like to do everything else I can to keep my mind off of it. Um, Last time we were at the National, we hit some dive bars. Fork, we hit dive bars. Anytime I'm traveling and fishing, I want out of the house I'm staying in. I want to take my mind off of fishing. I've
yeah.
done that for 8 hours that day. I need to do something else.
That's a good
So
point. That's a real
yeah,
good
so
point because that's yeah, I stay with people who are like really serious about fishing, and that they come off the water. They've been pre-fishing all day, and then they just go right back to work. They eat. They start rigging all their stuff, and then I can't do that. Like I gotta get off the water. I gotta crack beers open. I gotta go eat. I gotta go eat at a restaurant or so. I gotta go do stuff. I can't. Like I mean, the whole tournament thing's stressful enough, but sitting around and thinking about what you're going to do the next day is just like I had to just decide I'm just going to do this, and now I'm going to go out there and drink and have fun, and then I'll be there at 4:30 in the morning or something like that.
yeah, I'll tell you this. So we went to Boondocks almost every night. Let's see, I believe it was Monday night, Tuesday night, and Tuesday night the AC went out at Boondocks. We've been playing cornhole in their restaurant all week, between patrons that were actually trying to eat dinner. And we're in there throwing cornhole bags. Sounds like fireworks going off.
Yeah.
But their AC went out on Tuesday night, and they let us drink in the cooler because it was so hot in there. So Wednesday, we got off the water after day 1, and Lambert went by. He's like, God, it's hot in here. I found another bar. I'm like, all right, well, let's go there. So we went there, and they had a little food truck outside so we could get food there. But they entered him in a pool tournament. And we did the same thing there. We brought our own cornhole boards in, moved all their tables out the way, and we're going, all right, we're going to play cornhole. But this time, the locals joined in with us. And there were some old boys in there, a couple old guys that ended up throwing good bags, and it was a good night.
Oh man, that's great. So you guys bring your own boards, own bags, and you just take over bars as you go.
Yeah, well, this time we did. Boondocks had their own boards there, but we had to bring our own bags because their bags were trash. And at the PK Sports Lounge or Sports Bar, or whatever it was called, they didn't have any cornhole boards, and they allowed us to bring the boards in and throw them out and measure them off correctly. And we were just sitting there playing cornhole, and Ryan was whipping butt in pool tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that's I like stuff like that. I don't, I mean, like I said, these fishing trips can be fun, and like I love fishing, but sometimes like if that's all you're down there for, you miss out on a good trip. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I want to spend time with people, and I want to talk with people. Day 1 of the tournament, when I actually got to my first spot, I was actually spooling 2 reels on the boat, getting them ready to go because I just opted not to do it the night before. So
That's not how you do it, man. Mark, that's not how you do it. That's not how professionals operate, bro. What are you doing?
I'm a small town guy. I grew up in East Texas. if you can't tell by my voice, I'm kind of a little bit of a hick,
Yeah.
but I did. I mean, all to the professional guys. And I got some really good friends that are very professional, and they do very well in tournaments. And I mean, it's just not the person I am.
No,
And
I gotta show up, to the boat launch, a little wrecked, little worn out. I gotta, I'm gonna look like shit. My beer's gonna be all messy. I'm gonna reek of alcohol and good time. I know. I don't feel. I feel like the less I take it serious on the morning of, like the
yeah,
better I do. Like when I leave myself no option, like dude, I can't take. I'm a wreck. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to find a place to use a bathroom. I mean, I'm just a whole wreck. That's kind of where I shine the most. You know what I mean?
dude, I'm telling you, man. So I've built a reputation for myself down here in Texas. That I do go out and drink the night before tournaments and tend to do well the next day.
Yeah.
It all started on Lake Fork back with a KBS. They had a tournament down there, and only about 15 people showed up, but it was like 200, 250 a pop to fish it or something. And it was a nice payday for me. I ended up going out until about 1 in the morning, showed up, sweated my ass off all night, all day, caught 92 inches, won the tournament. And it proceeded from there. I did it at the Lone Star Throwdown. They actually had to come wake me up and get me out of my truck that morning. And I ended up placing 7th. And everybody was like, I don't know how you functioned that long to do that. So, and I've had good finishes. KBF on Lake Fork that Brian Hell stomped me through the floor on. I got second behind him, but once again, I got a little shithole bar there. I'm talking, it's rough.
Yeah.
And I go there on my tournament nights. I'll be there most nights pre-fishing, and I'll be there on tournament nights. And it's how I do things. Sometimes I get off in the water with enough time to take care of what I need to take care of.
Yeah.
I'm not diving back into maps and looking at stuff. I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I want to go out. I want to eat dinner. I want to see people. And that's how I operate. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with her. Like, I like to keep, like I'm saying, when it comes to keeping things simple, like when I don't do that stuff, when I try to be like, whatever, like professional or like whatever, when I try to take this shit too seriously, I find out one of the reasons I do so poorly is because I think I know too much, and I think I need to go here, I need to go there, and and I start trying to put science in the fit, whatever. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. So if I keep it simple, like I'm just gonna fish this area because it's got grass. Oh, there's a grass line here. I'm gonna hang out there for a few hours or whatever. Like I kind of figure that's where I shine the most because I didn't just fish in those areas for hours. And it's like if you stay somewhere long enough, you're bound to catch something or figure something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, for me, so I'm ADHD. Have been all my life. Not as bad as I used to be, but it helps me slow down. Really, fishing with a little bit of a hangover. It slows me down. It makes me a little bit more methodical in what I'm doing because I don't want to move too fast.
I don't want to move. I kind of just want to sit here. Here we are promoting. Here we are fishing, promoting alcoholism, and
I mean, if there's any beer companies out there that need a great sponsor that's not in AA or anything, hey guys, how you doing? I'm right here. So, but I mean, it's just the way I am. I like to get out.
Yeah.
I have fun with it. Is there a chance of going professional in kayak fishing? I mean, I think we're at the pinnacle of that right now, and it's only going to go up from here.
Yeah.
But once again, we're still grassroots people. Most of us don't have $250,000 jobs. Some of us do. I don't. My wife does. So, but I mean, we do what makes us happy, and that's an important thing. That you spend time with the people you get around, and don't just shy off and try and be so professional that you cut ties to all the people that are your friends.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think like one of the best advice I got was from whatever, another angler, but like real big name. Just and like he's like one of the like the best thing you do is like, or the advice he gives people is like never miss an opportunity to make a friend. That's one of the things I like about this. It's like everywhere I go, I meet, like every time I go to a boat launch or one of these tournaments, it's like, at the end of the tournament, dude, I got like 5, 10, maybe 20 new friends.
Right.
Through just simple conversation and through because the fact that we're going to fish this tournament together. And we just, I know there's just some kind of weird bond that you get. And then like, the award ceremony, everyone's hugging or, congratulating people. No one's really because everyone who's pissed off, they already left. They don't even show up to the award ceremony. They just go straight home. But I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like where the sport is now. It's like where I like it. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't want it to get bigger, but I do like the fact that we no matter what. No matter where you are and like your skill levels or anything, it's still just it's a big bro fest, man. You just show up and you hang out, you meet people, and then next thing you know, you're friends on Instagram and you're following each other's progress and all that shit. I mean, that's just to me, that's the best part of this. I don't know if that changes the bigger something gets and the more like competitive and like when you start putting like gigantic checks and like in like situations that could change people's life dramatically. Yeah. I've never been part of something like that, but right now it just seems there's just a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, I mean, as things grow, you're going to have to move with them, or else you're still going to be left in grassroots, especially if you want to advance your own personal career. And it doesn't mean you can't be who you are to do that. I mean, look at G-Man.
Yeah,
he'd rather be in the woods every day than in front of a camera, hands down. And the man is living his dream.
Right.
And you are who you are, and you're going to stay that person no matter what. I mean, you might, smooth out the edges a little bit, but definitely not. I don't see it changing people for the checks. There's going to be the people that are extremely professional, and then there's going to be the ugly twins like me and Lambert.
Yeah, there's going to be you guys taking over dive bars, throwing beanbags at each other.
And that's the way of the world. So
yeah, no, I agree 100%. So with this win, dude, like it being the first one, it's pretty big, pretty whatever. I mean, what happens after this? You know what I mean? Like as far as like is it weird conversations that you're now going to have with your wife? I mean, this is I imagine this is going to open a lot of doors up for you. I'm not saying like, hey, quit your day job and let's go fit. But I mean, it's in our little sport. This is a pretty big.
It is a pretty big deal. Luckily, right now I don't have a day job. I was doing outside sales, and the wife got a really good opportunity, and she needed more help around the house. So we were in a position that I could stay here and help the kids, get them to and from school, get things taken care of. So, I mean, it is opening doors, and I'm getting to have conversations with people and everything. I mean, this isn't a life-changing event, but it's an event that's going to allow me to pursue my dreams a little bit more than I thought I'd be able to. Definitely. And I've had some good conversations with some people that have been in the business a long time. They've given me great advice. So I'm just gonna ride it and see where it takes me. I mean, if I land some good things, I land good things. If I don't, I'm still gonna be me, and we're off to the next tournament. So
yeah. Well, that's what okay, I think about this. Like running a podcast or you're doing all these tournaments. It's like what do you really want out of it? Like where does this really take you? And like it's really I really don't put a lot of stock into it. Like to me, like dude, if I can just do this and not have to pay for any of it would be like would be like the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, I never imagined getting rich doing a hobby. Right. I don't know. Maybe it's because like all the years I did the military, I'm a paramedic now, and all these things. It's like I can't fathom the idea or even like fantasize about doing something that like for a living that I enjoy doing. To me, life is all about working and sucking and just grinding and all that shit. So to me, like when I look at the sport and just as how just the kind of sport it is, I'm like, dude, if I can just not spend my own money to go out there and fish or run a podcast or something like that, that would be like that would be great. I would be extremely happy with that.
Yeah, if I could make a living, more power to me. But if I broke even every year and not have, or if I just didn't have to spend my own money, if I could have enough that's what's taken care of, is the fishing's taken care of, and everything else can go to my family and everything, dude, I'd be super stoked.
Yeah.
My tackle shop guy, he's been around for a while. He's a really good dude. He's always been pretty honest with me. Trying to put me on straight paths and give me life advice. He tells me all the time, he goes, dude, you're on like chapter 5. I'm on chapter 42. And I listen when he talks, which I tend to do with most people that are my elders. They've lived life. They've been there. And he told me, he goes, do what you want to do with this. If you want to chase this, get in with companies, do whatever it is. Or if you just want to take the win and go on about your life, do that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, I'm like, it'd be cool to be like, yeah, man, I'm sponsored by woo. And then I look back and I'm like, but then I've got to watch what I do sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's a coin flip to see where it goes. Would I like that opportunity to be like, yeah, I'm sponsored by so and so? It'd be great, but I
Yeah.
mean,
I just don't know like if it's, and I think I mean this for like not just kayak fishing, but for like most of fishing in general. I don't know like how people are gonna become successful now with like the direction that just the world's going in general, with everything being you know, social media platforms and YouTube video and YouTube anglers. And, you know, it's like, I was thinking like people reach out to me, they want to support the show. I'm like, well, okay, well, what are you going to give me? Like, oh, we'll give you a 15% discount on all our stuff. I'm like, what does that mean? I mean, I'll take it, but I mean, that's not like, don't act like you're doing me any favors. I mean, it's just these different things that I know. Is like, I don't know, like what would make it like this thing big for guys like us. It's like, I mean, unless Toyota wants to give me, start giving me new trucks and paying me, thousands of dollars to haul my shit across the country, I can't really think of, like what's like what the big success in doing this is. Like, I don't like even the people who claim the title of being a professional kayak angler. I'm like, and I'm not saying they're not, because I don't believe, like, my thoughts on someone being professional, you don't have to be making a living off it. Like, I mean, like there's mixed martial artists who still work in coffee shops right now, but they got they got a pro card that says they can do professional MMA. So it's not that I don't think they're not pros, but as far as like like where they are, like, I mean, like no one's really like, I mean, I don't see this stuff like paying like your bills. I see a lot of people like they just got to live out of vans and travel year long. Like they're like the what they're getting out of it is just the ability to keep doing it, not really to settle down and like start putting money in retirement or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's
I don't see myself making a living fishing out of a kayak or a bass boat. I mean, that's like 1% of the fishing world that actually really gets to do that.
Yeah, it's like being a guitar player. Like, I mean, like there's only like 1% are going to make it as rock stars. The rest of you guys are just going to be guitar players.
Yeah, you're just going to be a guitar player in a band.
Yeah.
And I mean, I won a really big tournament. I won a really big tournament.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the first one. It's going to be a mark in history. My name's always going to be on it.
That's pretty badass. So I didn't even really think about that. Like, I'm sitting here looking like you're the first one.
I am, and that a lot of people have been trying to beat that in my head over the week, from Friday to today, and it never set in. Even walking around the convention or the expo, and people holler my name, signing autographs, doing all that, which I never in a million years thought I would sign somebody's giant old fishing lure or something.
Holy shit! Really? Like, you're signing autographs?
Yeah, I mean there wasn't a ton of them. I mean, maybe
still
like 20, but I mean people took pictures with me. Some I didn't know, some I did know. The ones I didn't know are really special. I got to meet a lot of kids. They're like, hey, like, we like to kayak fish. I'm like, man, you just keep doing you. Get on the water and fish. I mean, they're like, well, how did you get to where you are? I'm like, I paid entry fees. And I showed up to fish. I mean, I don't want to put anybody on the wrong path saying, you can't make a living doing this. I'm pretty sure you can. I mean, I know there's a top 1-2% of kayak anglers that actually win enough that they can get through the year and still make a little bit of money, or at least come out even on top of everything.
Right.
And I mean, and that's awesome. The rest of us are going to go to work, fish on the weekends when we can, and just move on with our lives.
Yeah.
A lot of us have families and stuff that we just can't take off 3 weeks at a time and go hammer down trails.
I think for like someone like me, and you're probably the same boat I am, it's just like, it's just going to happen the way it happens. I love doing it. And if I win, a huge tournament, like a tournament of champions or something like you did, then like, yeah, that's great. I don't know, but I don't know what like, I'm kind of just going with the flow here. Like, I'm just going to keep doing this until I don't like fishing anymore. You're right. I mean, it's just like, it's like, it's not something like I look as like, if the opportunity was to slap me in the face, like, hey, you got the chance to make millions of dollars doing this, then of course, I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to turn the wheel and me and my wife are going to go this way. But but at the same time, I'm like, I don't see a way to like actively like pursue it. Like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. Like, it's just not like, I don't know. Maybe I don't have the confidence in where everything's going with it or what, but it's just not something I'm willing to like put all my eggs in one basket, because I'm still enjoying it where I'm at now. So, I mean, I don't really see the point of putting like a crazy amount of effort into joining a pro staff or getting, or something like that. Like, it's just, I'm just gonna see where this goes and see, it's, if my fishing does it, or if I got the personality that people like, then maybe I can do something with that. But I just don't know. Like, even with the podcast, it's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, people like it, people don't like it, but like, what do I do? Do I actively go, hey, someone pay me millions of dollars to be a podcaster? I mean, you can put that shit out in the universe if you want. Doesn't mean that they're listening.
I mean, I strongly believe in people being able to will things to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you will it enough, I mean, look at the Ball family. I mean, they're all in the NBA now, right?
True.
So,
I mean, they might have made a deal with the devil. I don't know. I mean, like,
I mean, they could have, but I mean, I definitely believe if you really believe in something strong enough, you can make it happen, and you can make that your living or your dream, and you can achieve it. I never saw myself winning a big tournament. I go to the big events in hopes of winning, and I don't say I'm a professional fisherman or even really a good fisherman. I mean, I can hold my own, but mainly I think fishing about 80% luck, 20% skill, and that's just to keep a fish on a hook. So I mean, the guys out there that actually know how to use their electronics top notch and can find fish on a regular basis. I mean, they'll swing and miss here and there, but they're constantly in the top 10. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what you make it, I guess. If you really invest the time in learning the sport and learning how to do it, it's like golf. So I'm horrible at golf, but my friends take me out. I've got a set of golf clubs, and the more I play, the better I get, to the point I actually won a golf match the other day and beat him by a stroke. So I was really elated by that. And he's like, well, you want to go fishing? You want to go do a golf tournament now? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm out.
Well, let me ask you this, like, you're like you're going through, like, like, you've been doing this for a while. Like this year is like the first year I've really started having success. But it's still weird. Like, I still don't have, like, like, even though I've placed well, I've cashed checks a lot this year. It's really weird to me because, the year before this, I didn't even get top 10. And the year before that, I was skunking most of the time. But now, like, you slowly get better and better. And I'm at this point now where it's like, there's no way I'm going to win this shit. There's no way I'm going to get top 10. They say, no, I'm like top 3. I'm like, well, how the hell did that happen? Do you find yourself, like, when you get, like, as you've been doing this for a while, it's like you're sitting here at the Bassmaster Championship. You're like, there ain't no way I'm going to win this shit. And then it's like the next day you're like, dude, there's no way I'm going to win this shit. And then, like, it's like you show up and you're on the stage. It's like, well, holy shit, I just fucking won this shit.
Right. And I'm constant. I underestimate myself a lot. I mean, like I said, I'm an average fisherman. I mean, I can hold my own, but that's about it. I look into it every now and then. I started out in kayak fishing, I think about 6 years ago, and I showed up to a cats tournament on Houston County Lake. Was my very first one, and I showed up and I fished the social division, and I ended up winning the social division with like 63 inches. And I was hooked at that point. And then I went about 2 years of, grazing at the top 10, just almost there, but not there. To the next year, I placed, made it to some championship tournaments, stuff like that. And it just kept growing each year. The more I learned, the more I could figure out. And now I've actually, placed in some top tier tournaments, 21st or 20th at the NC at Caddo, 2nd at the KBF Regional on Fork, 7th at the Lone Star Throwdowns, 3rd in a couple, of the home tournaments on North Texas Trail, to lucking into a Bassmaster trophy behind me. So, and it is what it is. Clifton Allen asked on KBN last night, he's like, are you the new standard? And I was like, and my exact answer was, if the new standard is complete luck, yeah, I'm there. I got it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I guess it's just weird because you don't realize how good you are until you're just that good. And that's like all levels. You know what I mean? It's like when you're sitting there, it's just like, well, shit, I guess I am that good. And it's also bass fishing, so it's not like I don't believe there's really no like Michael Jordan. Like, there's just someone who's just that. Like every tournament, someone's got got a chance to perform well and have and that day to go their way. But at the same time, it's like, when we start consistently do well, and do well can be like real, like that could be anything. doing well could be just getting limits at all your term. Like you're no longer skunk, or or doing well is getting top 20, or doing well is getting top 10. And then all of a sudden, doing well for you is getting in the money all the time. Whatever. I mean, doing well can mean a lot of different things, but it's just sometimes you just don't realize like how good you are, because this is the most losingest, shittiest sport I've ever been part of. It's this sport, no matter like how cocky you are the morning of, that day, like the event will take the life out of you. And you just get so used to getting your ass kicked. I mean, to the point where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore, but some of us just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And then like when you finally do good, it's like, it's hard to believe that this is like, that it's not luck, that this, and it's just weird. Like, but then again, then you do it the next tournament, and then you do the next tournament. Next thing you know, you're constantly, getting a limit, or constantly, seeing your name up there in the top 20. It's like, well, holy shit, maybe I'm actually figuring this shit out now. Maybe I got to quit underestimating myself and accept the fact that I know how to catch fish now.
In this sport, the one thing that is the most important is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
If you can consistently get yourself in the top 20, top 10, top 5, I mean, you're going to find yourself in places you didn't think you'd be. And to do that, you really have to believe in yourself. I mean, you can't show up and go, I'm going to suck. Well, you're going to suck.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just the way of the world. I mean, that happens with work. That happens in other sports. If you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to happen. Like I said, I underestimate myself all the time. And then I hook the first fish today. I'm like, all right, I can do this. And then we're back at it. But I mean, there's still times I'll show up to a tournament and blank. Recently, I fished Joe Pool here in Texas on the North Texas Trail. Shit, I didn't score fish. I may have scored one, or I caught one and I didn't even score it because it didn't matter.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, I don't even know why I'm out here. And I mean, I get in that attitude, and then I'll go out and catch a lot of fish. I'm like, okay. And I've got the areas that I can go revisit where I can put a hook in a fish's face and go, okay, I can still catch something. So it's not me. It was just the day.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's just that kind of sport. Like, because even though you watch it, like I've done events where it's like, well, this guy obviously he's going to do really well. It's one of those names, and then you realize, oh shit, like he caught one fish. It's just like you never know. Like it's just the sport. Like the fish don't care how good of an angler you are, or care what your name is in the rankings or anything like that. Like they just don't give a shit.
They don't.
No. So, but I will say like this. It's like, and you're right. Like the mindset, like. If you don't think you can, like whatever choice you make at a tournament, and this is what I found out this year, whatever choice I make, whatever I'm going to do, I have to believe that I can catch fish there. If I don't believe that, then I wasted my time that whole day, and I should have just stayed home. I should have came out there. But like what I found out is like, all right, no matter what, I can sit here, I can catch fish. I don't know if I can win this tournament, but I know I can catch fish here, and that's been like my whatever you want to call it, like a mantra that I say now at tournaments. Like I can catch fish here. And then it just and whatever I got to do to make it work, whether it's retying or changing my retrieval or whatever it is, in my mind, no matter how shitty the day is going, like I can catch fish here. To me, that's like if you don't think like that, like you're gone. You had no business being out there in the first place.
I agree. Oh, sorry. I'm still trying to recover from the last week of all the fishing and Lambertness that we had to go through.
Lambertness, I like that.
But so my thing is, and I probably started about 4 years ago when I started really figuring out kayak fish and stuff. I recognized who the top anglers were in my area. And the number one guy that I had to fish against on a regular basis was Guillermo Gonzalez and Matthew Scotch and Joseph Sanderson.
Yeah.
And those guys. And so when I'd go to a tournament, I'd be like, I want to beat that person. I want to start with that. If I can get where I can beat him, I'm going to be doing good. And it could be that he just had a horrible day and I caught a tiny limit, but I was happy with myself because I was above that. And then it got to where that I became friends with all these people, and good friends, I'd like to say, that I was like, man, I really hope they get out there and crush it. But now I'm just shooting for 5 fish, and hopefully there's the 5 right fish that I need that day. And everybody attacks it a different way. But I mean, I want to go out and I want to catch 5 fish. And I don't care if they're 5 small fish or 5 great fish, but I want to say I finished my limit and I gave it everything I had, and I am where I am, and I'm happy with that.
Well, that's just like, because now you win the big event, and doing as well as you are, has it changed the way like you? And I'm not saying like winning this fit because we haven't seen what you're gonna do after this, but like change the way like right now I'm in that phase where like I'm just trying to get a limit and but then you got some people who are like in a phase or in a spot where like I'm going to catch 5 big fish. Because I think you talk to a lot of people. I've talked to everyone. There's just some people who are just like they're out there to win. And that's just like it's like and they could care less if they catch. Like they're going to catch 5 good big fish or they'll catch 2, and that's just the way it goes. Like they're confident enough they're going to go out there and throw big punches. Like has that changed? Has something like that ever happened to you? Like where it's just like I guess what I'm trying to say is like some people they've learned how to win. And that's what they're going out there to do. And they might completely fall apart, but like they're out there to win. Where a lot of us we're out there just to try to do good and get better, and things like that. Where do you think you are?
I think I show up with the mindset that I'm going to win. I go into the tournament. I mean, I don't pay my money to lose for damn sure.
Right.
But I go in knowing I have a chance to win. And I'll spin out in the tournament just like anybody else. Go to my spot, everything falls apart, and I'm gone. And I'll just sit there and stare at water going, I don't know what to do. And then I get to the weigh-in, the guy that won it was like, I was throwing a weightless Cinco against the grass. I'm like, well, I was staring at grass all day, and I threw a damn chatterbait. Right. So, and I couldn't put it down because that's what I caught it on in pre-fishing. But,
yeah,
I mean, I go in to every tournament that I enter with the mindset that I can win it. Once again, I still underestimate myself all the time, but I tell myself I can win it. I mean, there's a lot of sticks here better than me, and it is what it is. But I can still win it. I can get it in the right spot. I can luck out and find the fish that moved out of their spot. So, I mean, we all fish different ways. So everybody has a chance to win. And, it's very possible that you can do it. But for me, winning this one, placing in other big tournaments, it really hasn't changed the way I look at things. Like I said, I know I'm an average to a good stick. I'm not one of the greats. I'm not one of the guys that's always going to be mentioned as a top tier angler, and that's okay. But people do know that I can show up to a tournament, and there's a good chance that I can place, and I'm happy with that. But it's not like I show up to a tournament, they're like, oh my God, Pendergraf's here, we might as well go home. So,
well, maybe now, who knows? Like, I mean, like, I mean, you got a title now. You're the Bassmaster, whatever champion. I mean, that's gonna stick with you for a minute.
I hope it does, man. I'm elated. I'm on cloud 9. I mean, I've never been in a position like this where I got people messaging me still, congratulating me. Companies reaching out, offering things, and I mean, it's a new shoes to be in, and it's really neat. And I know some of the guys in our sport have been there before. The national winners, a lot of the state guys that win huge state tournaments. The guys that are consistently in the top 10 that, they get this stuff all the time. But for me, going from being a little country bumpkin with like sponsoring the companies that I actually use to companies now calling to offer me stuff.
Right.
It's insane. But I mean, I'm still who I am.
Yeah. We're not ready to make those big changes yet. No. So let me one more thing or 2 more things, and then we'll wrap this thing up because I know you're tired. Dude, you've got to be sick of podcasts by now. But I mean,
this is my only 3rd one.
Okay.
I don't mind talking to people. People have hit me up trying to get me on podcasts, and I've already agreed to do another one.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, we'll revisit like you were. Well, we'll revisit here in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, well, I'm free after this time. And you were one of the few that actually goes, yeah, let's make it work. Drink some beers. I'm like, sweet. And other people are like, oh, okay, well, maybe we can catch you next week. I'm like, okay, I don't care. Yeah. If you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah. Well, see,
I'll make your show interesting.
Yeah, I know. I was just like my thing is because if you win, you're definitely going on KBN first because they have the live on Monday, and they've won that and they've earned that too. And then obviously, Paddle and Finn they used to have their live one, and now I think they're just doing whatever. Like there's people who are really good at just doing these things first. Me, I've never been like the tournament. Like I try to do that, but it's like, dude, everyone else is doing that. You got to be something different. So, but but still,
I saw you shotgun that beer live. I was like, Man, he hasn't even reached out. I'm gonna fucking comment on this and see if he even wants to talk to me.
Oh no,
I was like,
I was gonna talk to you in like 2 or 3 weeks. I was gonna wait a minute. I was gonna wait for everyone else to get done with it. And I'm like, all right, he'll come on my show and we'll talk about some shit.
yeah, I mean, in all honesty, not a lot of people have reached out, and I mean, there's a handful that have, and I'm down to get on their shows and talk to them, and I hope more do because I like meeting people and reaching as far as I can. But yeah, it's kind of been quiet on the podcast front,
Yeah.
the main ones, and then me reaching out to you because you Shotgun Beers live. So, I'm happy to get on anybody's show if they want to have me. I don't pick and choose. If I've already agreed to a time with somebody, I'm going to be on that show, and if somebody else wants me, they'll just have to work around that one that I already agreed to.
Right.
And it seems like people just don't like doing that. So,
Carolina, it's podcasting. It's not like we're battling for like airtime. You know what I mean? It's like go listen to that guy's podcast and you come listen to mine afterwards or whatever. I mean, it's just podcasting.
Yeah, when you told me like, hey man, I can get you right on. You're done with Paddle and Fin. I was like, cool, man. I let Paddle and Fin know. I was like, hey guys, I need to jump off right around 9:00. And I didn't tell them why. I just they're like, yeah, man, that's fine. We'll do it, and that way I could jump on yours and chat with you for a little while. And
I wish you would have told him that. I wish you would have told him that. I gotta go talk to Josh at Dark Waters. I love those guys. I love talking shit to them too.
I mean, and they seem like really good guys. This was my first time meeting them, but it was a real pleasure talking to them. Before we went live, we were talking about beards and how much of a pain in the ass it is to actually grow one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how our night started with those guys, and it was a good time. And of course, listening to Joe,
yeah,
he's a class act by all means. So.
Oh yeah. All right, so like one more thing, the actual Bassmaster event. I didn't see like a lot of live footage. What'd you think? First off, what did it feel like to be on the stage? What did it feel like to have your name called for first place? Did you know that you won? And then the last question to be, what'd you think, like, as far, because I know a lot of people, like, the first time people walked on the stage, like last year or the year before, whatever, fucking COVID's ruined my timeline. But yeah, a lot of people were like just talking, we're just shit talking and saying that we were just a stepchild, blah, blah, blah. Did you see any changes? So that's a lot of questions, bro. One,
I got it.
Go for it.
As for being on the stage, so I didn't know I won. I knew it was extremely close. Math was there to prove that I won. That math was there to prove that I lost. And a couple people, I had my numbers posted way early today. Everybody knew what I had. Nobody knew if I called late in the afternoon, but everybody saw Joe's numbers and that he was creeping up and that he had caught fish and was on fish. So I was an emotional wreck for 2 days. My wife had to deal with that. And being on the stage, I was already emotional. So I was doing my best. Not like I'd start tearing up just talking about it. I'm like, oh my Lord. So I had planned myself, be like, if they call your name, you're just going to scream and rah, woo. And I was like, and that's the only way you're going to stop yourself from crying on stage. Yeah. Because as I tell people, I'm not like a huge emotional person. So when all these weird emotions started building up, I knew I was going to get messed up pretty good.
Yeah.
But holding up the trophy, man, that was an intense emotional. As soon as they called my name, I took my hands and I went to like jump or scream, and I just covered my face.
Nah. Gotcha.
And hung my head because I was my body just quit on me at that point. I was physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, and tears just started pouring. Lifted up the trophy, got to hold it, and I was mainly looking up at the trophy and smiling because I knew I was going to have to hold it a second time, and they had informed us about that before that, and that's where I could really look out and see people. And the second time I walked out there and held up that trophy, man, I could hear my wife from the top of the first section up there. My dad was there. She said he was crying, even though he won't admit it. He's given me a lot of grief over the years. So he was crying. He was happy. My son was there, my nephew. And then I had all my DFW friends and people down in front of me from the kayak, the national trails. Some of the people had stuck around to see who won. And it was cool having them there. And I tell everybody, like, I could hear people yelling, but one dude stuck out, and he's a real professional guy. His name's Guillermo Gonzalez. I mean, almost everybody in the kayak industry knows who he is. But he's a very professional person when you talk to him. Very well reserved and doesn't really, get animated. and I'm pretty sure that dude was made of rubber at that point. He was jumping and screaming, and that just brought everything out, and I started crying again. And it was a huge emotional event for me. Still is. I still tear up talking about it, just of all the outpouring of support that I've received over this. It's just insane.
Now was it because it was a Bassmaster event, or is this something or like winning a TOC would be just as? Like, what do you think about? Like, I mean,
I think that it was the first ever
yeah,
bass championship like this. It had a lot more play in it, but I'm pretty sure it would be the same outcome at a TOC tournament.
right,
I know Ryan was pretty choked up on it. He was out there bawling his eyes out on the river when he caught that last fish. And I'm pretty sure I'd have been in the same shoes. I'd love to
yeah,
go fish the TOC. I'd love to qualify through the Hobie series.
yeah.
Um,
That's my goal. It's like the only goal I really have right now is just to make it to the TOC.
yeah, and I would love to be there. That's definitely a level of fishing I'd like to do. I'm pretty much out this year. My last chance is going to be up in La Crosse, Wisconsin to qualify for that, which I did all right there last year on day one of the Hobie, or actually day two of the Hobie. I did good. Day one, I lost a lot of good fish. Ended up placing 11th out of the bass up there, which got me to this tournament. So I'm looking forward to La Crosse. I'm going to try and make Pickwick for both events, bass and Hobie. So I'd love to be on the TOC stage by all means.
Yeah,
That if I could get there and win that, that would be another pinnacle in a career.
right.
Um, that's against 50 of the top people that fish on that Hobie
Yeah,
Trail. This was 149 of some of the greatest anglers in the United States.
yeah,
So both tournaments are extremely intimidating and they're very sought after. So appear at both of them would be an amazing accomplishment.
right. All right. So the last question, uh, what was it a good rain event for you guys on the stage? Was there hype? Was there everything? Everyone bit because a lot of people bit like I said, a lot of people bitched about the first stage walk, and I was wondering if there was any changes.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
I wasn't at the first event, unfortunately. I couldn't make it out there. I did get to see some of it, and the announcer didn't know kayak fishing or what
right,
it was about, and there was a few snide comments made, and it was unintentional. It's just he didn't know,
yeah,
and I mean you can't fault somebody for not knowing. I mean he was just kind of thrown into the situation, and
yeah,
he didn't know. He's used to bass boats, used to these big guys, and he just didn't know about kayaks or how to approach it.
yeah,
And this year he did really, really good with the stage walks. He treated us like he would treat anybody else, the college series, the high school series, the pros. He treated us really well. I wish we could have had more people in the audience. It was really hard getting people in, and I'm not going to pinpoint that all on Bass. I believe that was more of the Dickies Arena staff that was doing the security at the events. It was a nightmare trying to get people in. I had to send Patrick Malone after my wife and kids to get them into the event so they could see me on stage.
yeah,
And he did it. He was running all around that building trying to get in everybody they could. And then the event staff kept moving the fans. I mean, it'd be cool. Ryan touched on it. It'd be cool if they do like a pre-party or something to get the kayakers there. That way we can have some fans. I mean, it was nice. I mean, there was at least about 200 people in there, and it was good. I enjoyed it, but I wish I could have seen some more people in the chairs and stuff. But I
okay,
mean, all in all, Bass did. I think they did pretty good with it.
yeah.
For the first actual real Bassmaster kayak division. I mean, I think they did what they could with it. There's going to be things that are going to be talked about and touched on here in the future, most
Yeah.
likely, and
But
I
but but
hope I hope
but a good starting point, right? You would
yeah,
say.
it's a great starting point, and I hope they ask some of the top kayak anglers like, hey, what do you the top 10 guys like? What would you have liked to seen different at your championship appearance? And let us give them a voice to see what they'll do. But I mean, this is a test run for Bass, and people don't
Yeah,
understand that they have the choice to may or maybe not bring the kayak division back. And if they
right.
do, oh man, it's gonna be twice as cool next year or at the next championship. And I mean, it's gonna do nothing but grow because kayak angling is so easy to get into, and a lot of pros have stepped down and fished some big name kayak tournaments because they understand how fast the sport is growing and they recognize that. And I think Bass is seeing it and they're jumping on it, and I think it's going to do nothing but grow from here on out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, man. Well, let's wrap this thing up, dude. Like, what? So what's next? This got to be weird. Like, I didn't think about this until now, but it's like, dude, it's only June, and you've already peaked. You know what I mean? It's just like we still got another second half of the season, man, and like you've already like accomplished like one of the biggest things you could possibly accomplish in a season. What are you looking at for the rest of the season, man? I know Texas is hot right now. I got a message from Stormy from Dakota Lithium. He's like it's hot, and I'm like, yeah, dude, it's Texas. He's like, no, bro, it's fucking hot, and I'm like, oh, okay.
No, it really is. So we actually got emails and notifications sent out here in the state of Texas to start conserving energy because we're hitting record highs in the month of June. And I mean, it's hot. And I mean, I'm used to hot, but it's abnormally hot, and everybody's running their ACs and everything. And Lord knows we're probably gonna have another blackout because the freeze that we had screwed up everything.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, when you're not home, set your AC to 80, and then when you're there, keep it at like 78. And then when you go to bed, set it back up at 82. I'm like, have you ever slept at 82-degree weather in Texas? No, it is not happening. I was like, I'll turn off my lights. I won't do my dishes and stuff till later in the day. I was like, but my house is going to be 75 degrees. I will do that for you.
Right.
If you continue to harass me, I'm going to turn it back down to 68 like I normally do.
So what's next for you? That's what I'm talking about. I don't know like what's gonna happen in Texas. I don't know like if you guys fish this time of the year or whatever. But what's next for you? Like I said, you've already peaked. You've already had this amazing event. You won a bunch of money. I mean, do you want to travel more the rest of the season? Like, what do you want to do, bro?
Man, I'm gonna spend some time with the family. I'm gonna try, like I said, I'm gonna try to make the Pickwick events for bass and Hobie. I'm definitely gonna be at Hobie and lacrosse. Next month, I've got to fly up to. We're flying up to Milwaukee to see my wife's dad. He lives in Wisconsin. We got a wedding in September up in Chicago. We've got some traveling we got to do, but I mean, my next steps, of course, fish my grassroots trails here in Texas. But I want to be at the TOC. I want to qualify for that, so I'm going to invest everything I have to chasing down that next big tournament. And I want to make an appearance there. Win, lose, draw. I want to be at the TOC. So that's I mean, heads up to all the guys that I'm going to see at these events. I'm coming for it. So
yeah. All right. Well, I mean, like you definitely got some momentum. I mean, that's what everyone talks about. Everyone talks about momentum in this sport. Yeah. And so, I mean, like I don't know, winning the Bassmaster Championship sounds like a lot of goddamn momentum.
There's some momentum behind it. Funny thing is, we got a combined local trail here in 2 weeks on Possum Kingdom. During the Champlain event, I was going to try and drive up for that, and then I realized that I didn't want to be in a truck for a whole day.
Jeez.
Actually, like 3 days probably driving because I'm not going to do it in 2 hours stint or 2 12-hour stints. It ain't going to happen. So I opted not to go to Champlain.
I don't blame you because I mean, like I really want to fish Texas so bad, and I might fish it next year. This year we're just coming off COVID, so I was kind of a little like iffy on like how I wanted to plan stuff. But you're right, dude. That's a trip. That's like I mean, it's like I mean, like so my plan is to fish Champlain, to fish the Susky, and then I'm gonna depending on how I do those events is gonna depend on if I go to Pickwick or if I go to lacrosse. I really want to fish lacrosse.
I was looking at Susky, and I'm like, man, I got to watch all those dudes catch smallmouth and talk about how they did it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could figure out how to river fish. It would just be finding out how I launched my boat here and then get picked up downriver and working all the logistics out of fishing a river because I don't have to do that here.
Yeah.
And I know enough people that I could probably make it work. But I would like to do the Susky. Definitely want to do Pickwick. Definitely going to do lacrosse. I love lacrosse. That's such a beautiful place.
It's like I said, it's either going to be that or Pickwick. Now, don't get me wrong. If I go and I show out and cash a check at the Susky or the Hobie, then I can do what I want. Like I gotta sell it to my wife, and so right now, like all the money I've been winning has been going to my trips, and so I gotta get one more big trip or one more big check before I can like commit to like lacrosse and Pickwick because like, both those trips are like 16-hour trips for me. I think
same here. To lacrosse, I think to where I stay in lacrosse is about 14, 15 hours. And I did it in 4 days on the last go round for the bass event, which I qualified for the championship for. I drove up, got up there on Friday, had enough time to go check my spot from the Hobie event, found out there was still fish there, took it back to the hotel, went out, drank, ate, went to bed, got up, fished the tournament, and drove home that Sunday. So I that was a road warrior event for me, and
Yeah.
it turned out good. So I don't mind putting the miles in
Right.
to get the outcomes of it.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, is there anyone you want to thank that makes fishing easier for you? You got to thank some people. This huge event.
Definitely.
You're an old town guy like I am. I'm sure like they're gonna be looking at you now too, or maybe they already know who you are. I don't know. But anyone you want to talk about that makes fishing easier for you?
I mean, first and foremost, of course, my wife Laura. She's the one that holds everything together in this family. She's the rock. She's the what is it? The matriarch. I'm the patriarch. Whatever it works out. I told her that I was like, I'm the matriarch of this family. She goes, no, I am. You're the patriarch. Get it right, you dumb idiot. And I was like, okay. But definitely her. She's the one that holds all this together and gets everything done while I'm gone on these week-long trips and stuff, and keeps me going. Always tells me, listen to your gut, don't listen to your head, because your gut's usually right. And then my sponsors, hands down, Old Town. Without them, a lot of the fishing style and fishing that I've done wouldn't be possible without the autopilot. Definitely makes pre-fishing easier and tournament day fishing. If I can lock down on a spot, it's awesome. And then Excite Baits, they're made out here in Texas in Pilot Point, just right there by Ray Roberts. Lloyd's a great guide. Been with him for a couple years. Just normal pro staff stuff, but I like his baits and I like using them. And then ALX rod, same situation. I picked up a rod and I really liked it, and I ended up winning a couple tournaments and sent them a message, and they're like, yeah, join the team, and I've got a whole stack of about 25 of them over here all rigged up, ready to go. So all three of those companies, they've helped me out along the way, and I got to give them credit where credit is due. So
yeah, well, shit, man. It's a beautiful trophy behind you. Congrats on winning it. I told you, we're gonna talk a little bit more about other stuff than just the fishing, right? So
yeah. One more thing, and I'm doing it on my podcast, and I promised Jason Barokoff I would. But his son, let me go.
Okay, yeah, I heard about that.
The SaveJT.com. Just reach out, make a small donation. 10,000 people donate $1. That's $10,000. So, I mean, any help would be necessary. KBN's getting ready to throw on a tournament for it. Got some cool silent auction items that are going to go up. The Hunt Trip with Joe. He has an amazing ranch up in Kentucky that he's going to let somebody put a buck down on. Aaron Lewis got the signed guitar, backstage passes, hangout, so big stuff. So SaveJT.com. Donate what you can. I mean, anything will help this family. I met the boy. I met Jason's boy, JT, at the expo. Sweet little kid, and I wanted to make sure we get done everything we can for that family.
Absolutely, man. We'll definitely push that. So
thank you.
All right, brother. Well, congrats. Get some rest, and we'll talk again soon, man.
All right, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you.